The beginning is always small. A seed is pressed into the darkness of the soil, unseen, almost forgotten. Yet within that seed lies the pattern of forests, the memory of orchards, the whisper of shade for generations not yet born. The farmer bends low, releasing the seed with faith that it carries its own instruction. He does not dig it up tomorrow to see if it works. He does not question whether the seed knows how to grow. He trusts the law of life. What is sown will rise. So it is with the word. Your word is your seed, and your life is the soil. The ancient law declares, your word is your wand. For words do not merely describe what is, they decree what shall be. Every syllable is a spark cast into the fertile substance of spirit. Every phrase is a command to unseen forces. Whether whispered in the stillness of your own mind or shouted into the air, your word goes forth as messenger and builder. Pause now and ask yourself gently, what have my words planted in my life? Are you walking today in a garden of joy or a thicket of thorns? Do the trees of your speech bear fruit sweet with love or bitter with complaint? For the law is impartial. It yields not what you wish, but what you speak. Throughout the ages, every tradition has bowed before this mystery. The Hebrew scriptures declare life and death are in the power of the tongue. The ancient Egyptians believed speech was magic, the first vibration by which the sun itself rose. The Gospel of John begins, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Hindus chant Om, the sound that carries creation. The Navajo speak of the holy wind of speech. Always, everywhere humanity has known to speak is to shape. Imagine then your words as sparks. Some glow like golden fire, igniting courage, warming every heart they touch. Others scatter like coal ashes, heavy, lifeless, choking the breath of joy. Each day you stand as a blacksmith at the forge, hammering sentences upon the anvil of eternity. What shape are you giving to your destiny? There is an invisible ledger in life where every idle word is written not as punishment, but as pattern. For the universe listens obedient to your decree. Say I cannot, and the path collapses before you. Say I am able, and mountains bend low. Say I am unworthy, and doors lock themselves. Say I am beloved, and the banquet hall of heaven swings open. You may think your words are small, tossed like pebbles into the vast ocean of time. Yet even the smallest pebble sends ripples that reach the farthest shore. Speak peace in the quiet of your chamber, and it travels unseen, touching your children's children. Speak fear, and the chain of bondage tightens not only on you, but on those who hear and inherit your vibration. And yet, what mercy! For the law of the word is also the law of renewal. As surely as the farmer may plant again, you may speak anew. If yesterday's words sowed weeds, today's lips may scatter lilies. If once you cursed yourself in ignorance, now you may bless yourself in wisdom. The tongue that wounded can also heal. The voice that bound can also release. Consider this parable. A traveler entered a barren land where nothing grew. He asked the people, "Why is your soil so empty?" They replied, "Long ago our fathers planted stones instead of seeds. They spoke bitterness and doubt, and the land remembered." The traveler bent down, took from his satchel a handful of grain, and whispered over it words of blessing. He planted them, watered them, and waited. Seasons passed, and soon green shoots pierced the dust. Children laughed where once there was silence, and the people said, "Surely words are seeds, and life remembers." Beloved soul, What land are you tending with your speech? Is your field barren because you have forgotten to plant blessing? Or are you already standing amid flowers because you learned the law of the word? This is the call to awaken, no longer speak as a beggar, but as a creator. No longer describe what is, but decree what shall be. Take this affirmation into your heart. My word is my wand. What I speak appears. I release the past harvest, and I now plant only words of life, abundance, joy, and peace. I bless my body, my path, my future, and my relationships. By my word, I rise. Pause. Feel the vibration of your own speech. Do not hurry. Each word is a seed falling into the unseen soil. And know this, every resurrection begins with burial. A seed must fall into the ground and die before it can live again. So too must the careless words, the patterns of complaint, the pronouncements of lack, they must be laid to rest. For only then can the new decree spring forth. Thus, as we move forward, we will see this truth unfold. You cannot resurrect what you refuse to bury. Before we enter that mystery, beloved, take a breath, let your heart be still, and carry this blessing. I plant words of life today. I trust their silent power. I rejoice in my harvest to come, and if this message nourishes your spirit, I invite you subscribe to stay updated with new relaxing videos and support this channel so we can continue creating peaceful content to help you rest and recharge. There is a law written deep into the fabric of creation. Death precedes resurrection. The seed cannot rise as a stalk until it disappears beneath the earth. The butterfly cannot take wing until the caterpillar surrenders its crawling form. The dawn cannot break until the night has spent itself. And you, beloved, cannot step into your resurrection until you release what no longer serves you. This is the law of burial. To cling to the old is to delay the new. To hold tightly to yesterday's identity is to lock tomorrow's door. You cannot resurrect what you refuse to bury. Pause and let that truth sink in. How many times have you prayed for new life, yet kept your arms wrapped around the very thing that was dying? How often have you asked for a crown while refusing to lay down the cross of your pride, your fear, your wounds? The soul cries for expansion, but the hands cling to the past. Imagine a tree in spring. Its branches stretch eagerly toward the sun, hungry for blossoms, heavy with the promise of fruit. But the gardener sees with wiser eyes. He takes his shears and cuts away dead wood. He prunes even the branches that look alive, but drain strength from the whole. The tree resists nothing. It does not argue, but I like that branch. I grew it myself. It yields knowing that the knife is kindness. Soon sap flows freer, blossoms burst brighter. Fruit ripens sweeter. The tree knows a secret loss is preparation for abundance. And so it is with you. What must be pruned from your life? Which habits, roles, or identities are stealing the strength that belongs to your blossoming? Perhaps you still cling to the identity of the wounded one, rehearsing every hurt. Perhaps you carry the role of the failure, wearing it as armor against trying again. Perhaps you clutch the image of the strong one, refusing to lay down your burden and let another carry you. These are branches that no longer serve. The shears of spirit invite you to release them. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman named Clara. For years, she had been the caretaker of her family, the one who fixed, who mended, who held the walls from crumbling. Her words were always, "I have to. They need me. Without me, everything will fall apart." Yet inside, she was weary, her spirit aching for something beyond endless sacrifice. She dreamed of painting again, of traveling of laughter that was her own. But Clara clung to the role of the responsible one. She was afraid, who would she be without that role? Would she still be loved if she was not endlessly needed? She prayed for freedom, yet her words kept binding her. I can't. They won't manage without me. One day, Spirit whispered to her heart, you cannot resurrect what you refuse to bury. With trembling courage, she laid down the old identity. She told her family, I love you, but I am not your savior. I am a woman with her own life to live. At first, they resisted. At first, she felt guilty. But as weeks passed, something miraculous unfolded. Her family found their own strength. They grew in ways she had never allowed them to before. And Clara, free of her old role, began to paint again. Colors bloomed on her canvas as joy bloomed in her life. The grave of her false identity became the womb of her resurrection. And so it is for you. The ego clings, whispering, without this role, you are nothing. But Spirit sings, without this burial, you cannot rise. There is sorrow in letting go. We do not deny it. The pruning knife stings. The grave is dark. To say farewell to an old self feels like betrayal. You may grieve the years you spent chained to it. You may weep for the time lost in falsehood. And yet grief is but the shadow cast by resurrection's dawn. For beyond the sorrow waits newness brighter than what was left behind. Hear this truth, what you bury in faith does not perish, it transforms. The seed does not vanish in the earth, it multiplies. The branch cut away does not waste the tree's strength, it preserves it. Your old identity, once surrendered, becomes the compost for your new strength. Nothing is lost but the illusion. Pause with me here and let us speak together. I release the old identity. I bury the role that no longer serves me. I lay to rest the voice of fear, the cloak of shame, the mask of pride. What I release returns to me as freedom. What I bury rises again as truth. I trust the law of resurrection. Feel those words. Do not rush. Your lips are the shovels, and your heart is the earth. As you speak, you bury what was false. As you breathe, you make room for what is true. Beloved soul, you may feel today like the seed pressed into soil, hidden, forgotten, suffocated by the weight of earth. But do not despair. The burial is not the end. It is the beginning. Resurrection always requires the grave. And when the time is right, the shell will crack, the sprout will push upward, the new self will break through into light. So remember this law, you cannot resurrect what you refuse to bury. Yield to it, and you will find yourself rising higher than you have ever dreamed. There are two voices that speak within every heart. One whispers in tones of fear, the other sings in chords of freedom. One condemns, the other crowns. One is the voice of the ego, the other, the voice of ascension. The ego's voice is subtle but relentless. It does not shout, it drips. Like a leaky faucet, it fills the vessel of your mind with doubt drop by drop. You can't, you're not enough, it's too late. Who do you think you are? It is the hiss of the serpent in Eden, not offering creation, but questioning it. The ego is a mimic, a counterfeit, a static-filled frequency on the radio of the soul. And then there's the other voice, still, steady, luminous, the voice of ascension. It does not argue, it does not justify. It simply declares you are, you always were, you will forever be. It speaks with the calm of oceans, the authority of thunder, the gentleness of dawn. It does not coerce, it awakens. Pause for a moment and feel this contrast. One voice shrinks you, one voice expands you. One binds you in chains. The other breaks every shackle. One voice says, you can't. One voice says, you already are. The soul's great journey is the training of the ear, learning to discern which voice is truth. For the ego speaks loudly, constantly, and close to your skin. But the ascension voice is deeper, nearer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat. It is not far off in the clouds. It is within, waiting for you to lean in and listen. Consider a man named David. He was offered a promotion, yet his mind was filled with static. The ego said, you're not ready. You'll fail. Everyone will see your weakness. He nearly declined, but in the quiet of a morning walk, he heard another tone. You are prepared. This is your hour. Step forward. He chose to believe the higher voice. Years later, that decision opened a destiny he could not have imagined. His ego told him he was small. The voice of ascension revealed that he was vast. The ego disguises itself as reason, safety, humility, but beneath its mask is always the same toxin: limitation. It chains you to what has been, never what could be. It whispers of past mistakes, reminding you of every stumble. It clutches shame to your chest and calls it identity. But the voice of ascension erases shame with a single word: beloved. It calls you not by your wounds, but by your wholeness. It names you not as you were, but as you are in truth, radiant, powerful, eternal. It does not bargain. It does not plead. It declares. And when you echo its declaration, your world begins to shift. Listen again. The ego says, you're unworthy. The voice of ascension says, you are chosen. The ego says, you're broken. The voice of ascension says, you are whole. The ego says, you'll never rise. The voice of ascension says, you have already risen. Which will you believe? For whichever you agree with, you give power to. Your agreement is the doorway. If you nod to the ego, its chains bind you tighter. If you nod to ascension, the gates swing open. Imagine yourself tuning a radio. You twist the dial, searching for a clear signal. At first, only static fills the air. That is the ego noise without substance. But then, slowly, the melody comes through, pure and unmistakable. That is spirit, the voice of ascension. It was always there, waiting for you to turn the dial, waiting for you to choose what to hear. Pause with me now and choose. Place your hand gently on your heart and say aloud, I silence the voice of fear. I tune to the voice of truth. One voice says, I cannot. I now listen to the voice that says, I already am. I rise. Let silence follow your words. Feel the echo of that declaration in your chest. Notice the shift in energy. For even now, the higher voice is quickening in you, preparing you for your resurrection. Beloved soul, do not despise the struggle. The clash of voices within you is proof that you are standing on the threshold. The ego fights hardest when its reign is ending. The night is darkest just before the dawn, but dawn will come. The voice of ascension cannot be silenced, for it is the very word of God within you. And now I invite you, if you choose the voice of ascension, declare it boldly in the comments. I rise. Let it not be hidden in silence, but spoken into the soil of creation. For your word is your wand, and today your wand declares resurrection. There is a mystery woven through all sacred paths. The cross comes before the crown. Surrender precedes dominion. Burial prepares the ground for resurrection. Before a soul wears the diadem of victory, it must first bow beneath the weight of surrender. We often imagine the cross as punishment, as suffering for suffering's sake. But in truth, the cross is not about pain, It is about relinquishment. It is the symbol of laying down pride, fear, and false identity so that the true self may ascend. The cross is not the end. It is the doorway, and the crown gleaming with divine authority waits just beyond it. Picture a pilgrim carrying a heavy pack filled with stones collected over years. Each stone is inscribed fear, shame, control, anger, the need to be right, the terror of being wrong. The pilgrim longs to climb the mountain where the crown is kept, but the weight drags them down. They stumble, they sweat, they despair. At last, in exhaustion, they fall to their knees and drop the pack. And it is in that surrender, the willingness to let go, that they find themselves lighter, freer, able to rise. That is the cross, the moment of release. Pause and ask yourself, what burdens have you been carrying? What stones fill your pack? Whose expectations weigh on your shoulders? Which stories of who you must be have become your cross? Beloved, hear this. You are not called to carry them forever. You are called to lay them down. The sacred texts speak of one who bore the cross up a hill. Yet notice his surrender did not end in defeat. It ended in resurrection. The cross was not his destruction, but his passage into glory. So it is with you. Whatever you surrender in faith is not lost. It is transfigured. There was once a man named Elias. He had built his life around control. He prided himself on knowing every detail, keeping every plan, leaving nothing to chance. He thought this control was his strength, his protection. But as years passed, his heart grew anxious, his relationships strained, his body weary. The crown of peace eluded him, though he grasped for it daily. One evening, he could no longer bear the weight. He knelt by his bedside and whispered, "I cannot carry this anymore. I release control." It was not a grand sermon, not a dramatic ritual, just a broken surrender. Yet from that moment, something shifted. Doors began to open without his forcing them. Relationships softened, his health renewed, and within a peace bloomed he had never known. Elias laid down the cross of control, and in its place he received the crown of freedom. Beloved soul, do you see? The cross is not cruelty, it is mercy. It is the place where burdens fall and the soul is set free. Imagine yourself standing before an altar. In your hands are the burdens you have carried for years, fear of failure, shame of the past, the need to prove yourself, the armor you wore to survive. One by one, you lay them on the altar. With each release, your shoulders grow lighter. Your breath deepens. Tears may come, let them. They are baptism washing away the old. And when your hands are empty, when nothing remains to clutch you, stand open, radiant, ready to receive the crown prepared for you. The crown is not pride. It is not arrogance. It is not domination over others. The crown is the radiant knowing of your true identity, child of God, heir of divine authority, radiant with eternal worth. It does not weigh you down. It lifts you up. It does not crush. It crowns. Hear this truth: the cross always precedes the crown. The night always yields to dawn. The grave always trembles before resurrection. Take these words and speak them now. I lay down my burdens. I surrender pride, fear, and false identity. I choose the cross of release, and I receive the crown of truth. I am light. I am free. I am crowned with glory. Pause. Breathe. Feel the weight lift from your chest. Feel the space created in your spirit. For in this very moment the exchange is taking place. The cross is becoming the crown. Beloved, when you remember this law, surrender no longer terrifies you. You no longer resist the pruning, the burial, the letting go. You see them not as loss, but as gain. You recognize that the path of surrender is the only path to true dominion. So let us walk together. The cross is before you, the crown beyond it. Do not fear the altar of release, for on the other side is the throne of joy. And when you rise from your surrender, you will not rise empty. You will rise crowned, radiant, victorious. There is a two-edged sword hidden in plain sight, a tool so precise, so powerful, that it can separate illusion from truth, bondage from freedom, sickness from health. That instrument is your word. The tongue, so small in the body, carries the scalpel of spirit. And when wielded with faith, your word becomes spiritual surgery, cutting away the false and establishing the true. Consider a surgeon preparing for operation. With steady hands, he holds the scalpel. The blade is not wielded in violence, but in healing. It cuts to remove, not to destroy. It opens not to harm, but to restore. In the same way, your words enter the hidden chambers of your soul. They cut away lies that have festered. They open the way for truth to flow. They cauterize wounds with fire from heaven. The ancient text declares, "The word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow." Your speech, aligned with divine truth, carries that same edge. When you say, "I cut ties with fear," it is not poetry, it is surgery. The threads of bondage begin to unravel. When you declare, "I rise as joy," it is not wishful thinking, it is operation. The cells of your being begin to align. Pause now and ask, what cords cling to me that need severing? Which false identities are still stitched to my spirit? For the scalpel of your word waits in your mouth, ready to perform its holy work. Let me tell you the story of Marcus. For years, Marcus lived under the weight of addiction. He said constantly, "I am weak, I am broken, I'll never change." Those words stitched his wound tighter, kept the infection sealed. One evening, desperate, he whispered a different decree. "I cut ties with this bondage. I am free. I rise as strength." He repeated it daily, trembling at first, then with growing force. Slowly, his choices shifted. The cravings lost power. Opportunities for healing appeared. His body healed, his mind cleared, his spirit shone. What changed his word became his surgery. He cut the cords of the false and spoke himself into freedom. Beloved, your word has the same edge. Each declaration is a blade. Each affirmation is an incision of light. Each proclamation is a stitch of restoration. You are both surgeon and patient healer, and healed. Speak these words now with me as if wielding the scalpel. "I cut ties with fear. I cut ties with shame. I cut ties with false identity. I cut ties with lack. I cut ties with sickness. I rise as love. I rise as peace. I rise as abundance. I rise as wholeness." Pause after each phrase. Feel the incision. Feel the release. Feel the newness flooding in. Do not rush this work. Each cut makes room for healing. Each decree invites resurrection. Words not only sever, they also stitch. A surgeon closes the wound after cleansing it. So too must you seal your spirit with new identity. If you cut away fear but do not establish love, the void remains. If you cut away shame but do not proclaim worth, emptiness lingers. The surgery is not complete until you have both removed and replaced. So let us replace together. I rise as worthy. I rise as radiant. I rise as eternal. I rise as beloved. I rise as whole. Beloved soul, feel the stitches tighten. Feel the wound close. Feel the life of God flowing where once there was emptiness. And know this: careless words cut too. The scalpel in unskilled hands can wound instead of heal. That is why every tradition warns of idle speech, gossip, complaint. These are reckless incisions leaving scars instead of restoration. Guard your tongue as a surgeon guards his blade. Use it only to heal, never to harm. Picture yourself standing in a hall of mirrors. Each mirror reflects back the words you have spoken. Some mirrors are cracked, warped, shattered by careless decrees. Others shine whole and radiant, reflecting love. With your word today, you hold the power to mend the broken glass. Speak light, and the mirror heals. Speak truth, and the reflection clears. Speak love, and you will see yourself as you truly are. Beloved, your resurrection depends not only on what you believe, but what you speak. Belief is seed, but word is water. Belief is root, but word is blossom. Belief dwells in silence, but word brings it forth. So let your mouth be the surgeon's hand. Let your speech be the healing blade. Cut away what was false. Seal in what is true, and trust that heaven itself listens to your every decree. Take this affirmation with you now. My word is my scalpel. I cut away fear, doubt, and illusion. I stitch in love, abundance, and truth. By my decree, I heal. By my decree, I rise and pause. For in this pause, the surgery completes itself. The word has gone forth. The healing is done. Identity is not inherited by accident of birth, nor cemented by the opinions of others. Identity is spoken into being. It is not what your parents called you, not what society labeled you, not what your past mistakes whispered to you. Your true identity is pronounced, not inherited. It flows from the throne of the words you choose to speak, and the highest throne you ever sit upon is the declaration, I am. Think of a courtroom. The judge robed in authority strikes the gavel and declares the verdict. The moment the words leave his lips, reality shifts. A prisoner is freed or bound. A case is won or lost. Everything hinges on what is pronounced. So too, when you speak, I am heaven and earth lean close. The gavel of spirit echoes and creation responds. Pause here and ask yourself, what verdict have I been pronouncing over my life? Have I been declaring I am tired? I am unlucky? I am broken? If so, you have been pronouncing sentences of limitation. But hear this, you may pronounce anew. The gavel is still in your hand, the court is still in session, the decree can change. The ancient law tells us that when Moses asked for God's name, the answer came, I am that I am. This was no ordinary name. It was the declaration of eternal being. Every time you speak, I am, you echo that same power. To say I am is to sit upon the throne of creation. Imagine a young woman named Sophia. She grew up hearing her family call her the quiet one, the overlooked one, the fragile one. For years she repeated their words, I am invisible, I am weak, and so her life bent to match her declaration. But one day she learned the law of the spoken I am. She stood before her mirror and said, trembling, I am strong, I am radiant, I am seen. Day by day, her life began to shift. Opportunities appeared. Friendships deepened. Confidence blossomed. Why? Because Sophia stopped inheriting her identity and began pronouncing it. Beloved, your I am is your throne. Guard it. Never use it carelessly. When you say, I am sick, you sit upon a throne of weakness. When you say, I am poor, you enthrone lack. When you say, I am worthless, you give your crown to dust. But when you say, I am whole, I am abundant, I am beloved, you rise into the throne prepared for you. Speak with me now, I am radiant, I am free, I am whole, I am loved, I am abundant, I am eternal, I am crowned with glory. Pause after each decree. Let it sink into your bones. Let it echo in the chambers of your soul. For these are not empty words, they are verdicts, they are crowns, they are resurrection itself. Beloved soul, your identity is not a hand-me-down. It is not a scar. It is not a rumor. It is not a chain. Your identity is the living word you speak, and as you rise in this law, you prepare your heart for the deeper practice of transfiguration, where every thought, every belief, every vibration comes into harmony with the divine decree. Beloved soul, let us now step into the sacred chamber of the law of substitution. This law is simple, yet it holds the keys to heaven itself. For every fearful word spoken, every anxious decree uttered in ignorance must not be resisted, but replaced. We do not wrestle with shadows. We bring in the light. And the moment the light enters, the shadow is gone, without struggle, without battle, without delay. When one says, "I am broke," they etch upon their spirit a false inscription, an agreement with poverty. But when they choose instead to declare, "I walk in divine abundance," the inscription is rewritten. The old is buried, the new rises. This is resurrection in speech. Consider this: if a gardener plants weeds among roses, would it profit him to fight the weeds daily, cursing their growth? No, he must uproot them and plant roses instead. So it is with your words. The mind may say, "I am not enough." The spirit answers, "I am more than enough, for I am one with the limitless source." Pause with me now and let us speak together. I bury the old word. I resurrect the true word. I bury fear. I resurrect faith. I bury lack. I resurrect abundance. I bury sickness. I resurrect health. Feel the rhythm. Feel the power. This is not imagination. It is substitution, the holy exchange of death for life. Let me tell you a story of a woman I once knew. She was drowning in financial despair. Each day, her lips rehearsed the same refrain, "I can't afford it. Money never comes to me. I am always behind." Her words were contracts binding her tighter with every utterance. But one day, she heard of this law. She was told, "Do not fight poverty, replace it. Every time you want to say, 'I can't,' instead say, 'I am fully supplied.'" At first, it felt like a lie. Her purse was empty, her rent unpaid. Yet she persisted. Every "I can't" became "I can." Every "I lack" became "I overflow." She spoke it on buses in her kitchen before sleep upon waking. Within weeks, opportunities arose, unexpected work. Forgotten debts, repaid gifts pressed into her hand. She wept, for she had seen the law in action. What she buried with words of lack, she resurrected with words of truth. Now I say to you, every word you speak is a resurrection or a burial. Your tongue is the shovel and the trumpet. Will you bury despair? Will you resurrect hope? The choice is yours, and it is daily. Let us practice substitution now together. I will speak the lie, and you will speak the truth. Repeat after me, "I am broke." Pause. I walk in divine abundance. I am sick. Pause. I radiate divine health. I am alone. Pause. I am surrounded by divine companionship. I am afraid. Pause. I rest in perfect love which casts out fear. Do you feel the shift that is resurrection? It is immediate. It is final. This is why we do not fight thoughts. Fighting energizes them. Substitution dissolves them. When the mind says it is impossible, substitute, all things are possible through divine law. When the lips whisper, "I am unlucky," substitute, everything I touch prospers and succeeds. Repetition is your ally, for the subconscious is not persuaded by one whisper, but by many. Just as the ocean shapes stone through constant waves, So repetition of truth carves eternal pathways in the mind. Therefore, every day practice substitution. When the shadow rises, bring in the light. When fear speaks, let faith answer. When lack murmurs, let abundance declare. Now pause, close your eyes, and declare aloud with me, I bury every word of fear. I resurrect every word of truth. I bury failure. I resurrect victory. I bury doubt. I resurrect faith. I bury despair. I resurrect joy. This, beloved, is the law of substitution, the gate to resurrection, the bridge from death into life. Beloved, resurrection is not an event to be remembered once a year. It is a daily practice. Just as the sun rises each morning, so too must your words rise, declaring the burial of the old and the birth of the new. We now enter the practice of 7 days of resurrection decrees. For 7 mornings you will awaken with the rising sun, and before the world speaks, you will decree life into your spirit. On day 1, you will declare, the old me is buried. I rise today in divine strength. Visualize yourself stepping from a tomb into sunlight. The stone is rolled away. The fragrance of lilies fills the air. Speak it 3 times, I rise in strength. I rise in strength. I rise in strength. On day 2, you will decree every chain of lack is broken. I rise in divine supply. See before you a table spread with abundance. Every need is met before it is spoken. Repeat it aloud, I rise in supply. I rise in supply. I rise in supply. On day 3, you will declare every shadow of fear is buried. I rise in fearless love. Imagine yourself walking through a valley and light bursts from within, scattering all darkness. Repeat it, I rise in love. I rise in love. I rise in love. On day 4, say every false identity is gone. I rise as my true divine self. Feel every mask, every label fall away. You stand radiant, authentic, whole. Speak it, I rise in truth. I rise in truth. I rise in truth. On day 5, declare sickness is buried. I rise in radiant health. Picture your body glowing, every cell vibrating with light. Speak it, I rise in health. I rise in health. I rise in health. On day 6, decree failure is buried. I rise in unstoppable success. Imagine doors swinging open before you, paths made clear. Speak it, I rise in success. I rise in success. I rise in success. And on day 7, the sacred day of completion, declare, I am resurrected into eternal victory. Nothing can defeat me, for I am one with divine power. Say it with boldness, I rise in victory. I rise in victory. I rise in victory. Beloved, these 7 days are not symbolic, only they are transformative. Each day you bury an old shadow and resurrect a new reality. Do not merely whisper them. Speak them as decrees, as law, as unshakable truth. I now invite you to commit. Will you walk the 7 days of resurrection with me? If so, declare it aloud, now I commit. Yes, speak it with your own lips. And for accountability, I invite you to type in the comments below, I commit. For commitment is a contract with heaven, and heaven honors contracts. 7 days, 7 decrees, 7 resurrections. Your life will not be the same. Beloved soul, let us now step into the chamber of breaking negative contracts. For many walk through life carrying invisible agreements, vows made in ignorance, words spoken in despair, promises whispered in fear. These are spiritual contracts binding the spirit as tightly as any legal document in a court of man. And yet, just as one can tear a paper and nullify its power, so too can these false contracts be broken by the authority of your spoken word. When a child hears, "You will never succeed," and repeats it inwardly, the contract is signed. When a woman says, "Love always abandons me," the seal is set. When a man mutters, "I am cursed," he stamps his agreement. These are not idle phrases, they are binding decrees. And what is bound on earth by word is bound in heaven. But hear me now, what is loosed on earth by word is loosed in heaven. Imagine a table of contracts before you, each one bearing a label. Failure, unworthy, unloved, always broke, never enough. You may not have signed them with ink, but you signed them with speech or with silent agreement in the heart. Today, beloved, we walk into the courtroom of heaven with scissors of fire. Today, we tear every false contract. Let me tell you the story of a man named David. He grew up hearing, "You're just like your father, irresponsible, wasteful, destined to fail." He carried these words like chains around his neck. No matter how hard he tried, every business venture failed, every opportunity slipped away. One day, weary and broken, he cried out, "Why does this always happen to me?" A wise teacher told him, "Because you agreed with a false contract. Tear it up." David began to speak aloud every day. "I cancel the contract of failure. I refuse the agreement of unworthiness. I step into the covenant of success and divine favor." At first, nothing changed. But day by day, he spoke with more authority. Then, doors opened first small, then large. His business flourished. He became a man of honor, known for integrity and wisdom. What shifted the contracts? Beloved, you too have signed contracts, but today they end. Close your eyes. See before you a scroll that says, "I am unworthy." Take it in your hands. Now with your mouth speak, "I cancel every false agreement. I am worthy, for I am one with the infinite worth." See the scroll dissolve in light. Now another scroll, "I am always broke." Tear it. Speak aloud, "I cancel the lie of lack. I step into divine supply. My purse is always full, for I live in infinite abundance." Another scroll, "I am unlovable." Tear it. Declare, "I cancel the false decree of loneliness. I am divinely loved, and love surrounds me now." Do you feel the release? Do you sense the breaking words bound you, and words free you? This is why Jesus said, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." Not by the opinions of others, not by circumstance, but by words. For the tongue is the pen of the Spirit, and every word is a signature. Therefore, beloved, speak with authority. Every false agreement is null and void. Every negative vow is broken. Every curse is reversed. I step into truth. I live in freedom. I walk in resurrection power. Pause and let this truth sink deep. Feel the heaviness lifting from your shoulders. You are free. You are unbound. Now I ask you to act. Write in the comments, "I cancel every false agreement. I step into truth." Write it as a declaration, as a testimony, for what is written carries weight. Beloved, the contracts are broken. You stand free. The old is buried. The new has risen. Beloved, now we must look at one of the most powerful revelations. Resurrection is instantaneous. It does not crawl. It does not delay. It does not take years of toil to manifest. When the word is spoken with authority, resurrection is immediate. Think of light and darkness. Does light gradually chase away darkness step by step, hour by hour? No. The moment light appears, darkness flees. One flicker and the shadow is gone. So it is with resurrection. Yet many souls believe change must be slow. They say, "One day perhaps I will be healed. Someday I will prosper. Maybe in time I will know peace." These words delay heaven's decree. But the truth is this: when the Christ word is spoken, when the decree is made, resurrection comes in a flash. Remember Lazarus. 4 days he lay in the tomb. By human measure, hope was gone. Yet with one sentence, Lazarus come forth, he rose. Not over weeks, not over months, but in one instant at the sound of a decree. So it is with you. Perhaps you have buried dreams, buried hopes, buried health, buried love. You think they are too far gone, too old, too impossible. But hear me, the same voice that said, Lazarus, come forth, speaks through you. Your words are resurrection trumpets. Pause now and imagine the scene. A tomb before you sealed with stone. Inside lies your dream, motionless, lifeless, forgotten. Now speak aloud with me, dream come forth. Life come forth, health come forth, wealth come forth, love come forth, joy come forth. Do you feel it? That is not imagination. That is law. Resurrection is instantaneous. Consider the testimony of a woman named Maria. She suffered with illness for many years, repeating the words, I will never be well. This sickness owns me. One day in a meeting, she heard the truth speak life. That night, she looked in the mirror and said, I am whole. I am radiant. I am healed now. Instantly, strength surged through her body. Pain vanished. She walked in health from that day forward. Was it gradual? No. The decree was spoken and the law of resurrection answered. Now listen carefully. Your words do not ask permission of time. They command eternal law. When you say I am free, heaven does not schedule freedom for next year. It is done in the now. When you say I prosper, heaven does not mark prosperity for another season. It blooms now. Resurrection is not waiting. It is awakening. But some will say, what if I do not see it? Then speak again and again. For though the decree is instant, your eyes must be trained to see. Faith sees what the senses cannot yet touch. Speak until your eyes catch up with your spirit. Let us practice together. I will declare the burial, and you will decree the resurrection. I bury fear. Pause. I resurrect courage. I bury lack. Pause. I resurrect supply. I bury despair. Pause. I resurrect joy. I bury sickness. Pause. I resurrect health. Each decree is a flash of light. Each word is a lightning strike. Resurrection is not tomorrow. It is here. Close your eyes and see a great light exploding in the tomb of your life. Every shadow is gone in a moment. What was buried now breathes. What was dead now rises. Beloved, if you feel the truth stirring, I invite you now to act. Comment below with 1 if you are burying the old today. Comment 2 if you are resurrecting the new. Speak it, type it, and let heaven record it. For today, you do not wait, you decree. And what you decree, you see. Resurrection is instantaneous law. It is the quickening of eternity in the now. Beloved, we have seen the power of words to bury and to resurrect. Now we must step into the holy discipline of guarding the mouth, for in guarding the mouth, we guard our very identity. Your tongue is not small. It is a gate, a sword, a trumpet. The tongue writes contracts, calls forth resurrection, and shapes destiny. To speak carelessly is to scatter seeds on rocky soil. But to guard the mouth is to stand as a watchman on the tower of your soul, refusing entry to the enemy, refusing passage to words of death. Picture a great city with strong walls and high gates. Inside the city are treasures, health, abundance, love, peace. At the gates stands a watchman. His duty is simple. He allows only the trusted inside, and he refuses entry to the thief. Your tongue is that gate. Your words are either invitations or barriers. Every careless word opens the door to thieves. Every deliberate decree invites angels of supply. Florence Scovel Shinn said every word is a boomerang. What you hurl outward returns to you swift and sure. Speak lack, and lack returns. Speak despair, and despair circles back. Speak truth, and truth builds a throne beneath your feet. Let me tell you the story of Ruth. She was a bright, talented woman, but every day she said things like, "I am so unlucky. Nothing ever works out for me. People always let me down." She did not realize she was planting seeds with each word. Her harvest was constant disappointment. Then one day, she heard the truth. Guard your mouth, for your mouth guards your life. From that day on, she caught herself. Every time she was tempted to say, "I am unlucky," she substituted, "Everything works together for my good." Within months, doors opened. She found a loving partner. Her work blossomed. The harvest changed because the seeds changed. Beloved, the mouth is the fountain and identity is the stream. If the fountain is bitter, the stream cannot be sweet. Guard your fountain. Speak only that which nourishes. Now pause with me and declare aloud, "I guard the gates of my mouth." Every word I speak is truth. Every word I speak is life. Every word I speak is abundance. Repeat it again. Every careless word is a seed. I choose only seeds of blessing. I plant health. I plant wealth. I plant joy. I plant peace. Beloved, hear me. Words are not casual. Words are creative law. To say I am tired may seem harmless, yet it plants fatigue. To say I am always late may feel like humor, yet it binds time against you. To say I can't locks doors before you try the handle. But the guarded tongue says I am refreshed. I am on time. I can do all things through divine power. And so identity shifts, not by striving, but by guarding the mouth. Beloved, begin to see yourself as a watchman on the tower of your being. Imagine yourself standing high above, looking over the land of your life. Every thought that approaches must pass through your lips before it takes form. When fear approaches, do not open the gate. When doubt approaches, deny entry. When lack approaches, slam the gate shut. Speak instead the decree of life. For what you allow through your mouth, you allow into your world. Now close your eyes and place your hand gently upon your lips. Say aloud, "My mouth is holy. My mouth is a fountain of life. My words guard my identity. My tongue speaks only truth, only love, only abundance." Do you feel the power that is the discipline of speech? That is the guardianship of destiny. Remember, beloved, every careless word is a seed. Every careful word is a crown. Guard the mouth and you guard the self. Guard the self and you guard the life. Beloved, we now arrive at the great practice of daily renewal and alignment. For resurrection is not a single act, not one decree uttered and forgotten, but a rhythm, a cycle, a holy habit. Just as the heart beats without ceasing, just as the sun rises each morning, so too must the spirit be renewed through spoken decrees. Life itself is cyclical. The tides rise and fall, the moon waxes and wanes, the seasons turn. Renewal is written into creation. So too must renewal be written into your speech. To speak truth once is to plant a seed. To speak truth daily is to water that seed until it grows into a mighty tree. Pause and imagine with me each morning as the sun lifts above the horizon, light touches your face. In that moment, you stand as a living altar. Your mouth is the priest, your words the offering. Each word aligns your being with divine order. Each decree adjusts your inner compass to true north, the will of heaven. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote that consistency of word is sovereignty of life. A king does not decree one day and remain silent the next. He speaks daily, and his kingdom obeys. so too must you speak. Let me tell you the story of Samuel. He was a man who understood this practice. Each morning, before touching his work, he spoke 10 minutes of decrees. I am aligned with divine purpose. I walk in abundance. I am fearless in love. Every cell in my body radiates health. People wondered why opportunities flowed to him, why sickness never touched him, why joy followed him like a faithful shadow. The secret was his daily renewal. He did not speak once in crisis. He spoke daily in alignment. Beloved, I now invite you into this holy rhythm. Let us practice a mini ritual of renewal together. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Place your hand upon your heart. Speak with me now. This is a new day. I bury the old. I rise in the new. My words are aligned. My spirit is renewed. My path is clear. Pause. Visualize yourself walking into the sunrise. Each step is light. Each breath is truth. Now continue with me. I am aligned with divine abundance. I am aligned with perfect health. I am aligned with fearless love. I am aligned with endless peace. I am aligned with unstoppable success. I am aligned with eternal joy. Pause. Let the words sink into the soil of your being. See them take root, see them grow. This is not mere repetition. This is sovereignty. The subconscious mind is like soft clay. It is molded daily, not once. With every decree, you press truth into its form. Soon, it hardens into permanent shape, unshakable, undeniable. Daily renewal builds spiritual immunity. Just as the body strengthens through daily nourishment, so the soul strengthens through daily decrees. When storms come, you will not be shaken. When shadows rise, you will not falter. Why? Because your words have built a fortress. Now let us declare a cycle of daily alignment. 7 breaths for 7 truths. Speak after me. On the first breath, I am life. On the second breath, I am love. On the third breath, I am abundance. On the fourth breath, I am peace. On the fifth breath, I am health. On the sixth breath, I am success. On the seventh breath, I am joy. 7 breaths, 7 pillars, 7 renewals. This is your daily alignment. Beloved, the discipline is simple but powerful. Each morning before the world speaks, you speak. Each evening before you rest, you decree. Thus your day begins and ends in truth like bookends of eternity. Here, this consistency builds sovereignty. One decree may shift a moment. Daily decrees shift destiny. Therefore, beloved, I urge you, make this your rhythm. As you rise, speak life. As you rest, speak peace. And if you stumble, speak again. Renewal is endless. Alignment is eternal. Now close your eyes once more and declare with me, I am daily renewed. I am always aligned. My words are cycles of truth. My decrees are eternal law. I live in resurrection power. So it is, and so it shall be. Beloved soul, we now enter the sanctuary of your enthroned self. Breathe deeply, and in this breath, see yourself seated upon a throne of light. The throne is not in some far-off palace. It is within you, established from the beginning of time. It is the seat of your divine authority, the center of your eternal identity. Close your eyes and behold it, a throne radiant, woven of golden fire, shimmering with living crystal. From this throne, you speak not as one begging or pleading, but as one who has already received. From this throne, you speak with the voice of divine decree. From this throne, every word becomes law in the unseen, and the unseen must bow until it takes form in the visible. Pause. Listen. Feel the weight of majesty upon your shoulders. From the throne I speak. Say it aloud with me now. From the throne I speak. Let the words settle into your heart. Repeat again, from the throne I speak. This is no longer the voice of the one who waits. This is the voice of the one who has already risen, who sits clothed in power and certainty. When Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of the word as the wand, she spoke of this very place, the place where you no longer look up to heaven, but from heaven you decree to earth. Think of a king or queen upon their throne. Do they beg their subjects to obey? Do they hope circumstances will comply? No, they decree. Their word is final. Their decree carries authority. And so it is with you. From the throne I speak. When you speak from the throne, you do not say, "One day I will prosper." You decree, "I am already prospered. My prosperity flows unceasingly now." When you speak from the throne, you do not say, "I hope to be healed." You decree, "By divine right, my body radiates perfect health." When you speak from the throne, you do not say, "Perhaps love will come." You decree, "I am love embodied, and love surrounds me in all my ways." Pause. Let these truths wash over you. There was once a man who lived under the weight of endless struggle. His life was a chain of disappointments, financial collapse, relationships that withered, health that faltered. He prayed, but his prayers were weak whispered, as one far from the throne, spoken with uncertainty and lack. One day, as if awakened from a dream, he heard a voice within him whisper, "You are not begging at the gate. You are seated on the throne." He rose in his room, lifted his head, and spoke aloud with new authority. "From the throne I speak. My finances are resurrected. My health is renewed. My life is established in divine order now." At first, nothing seemed to change, yet something unseen had shifted. His tone was different, his vibration aligned. Day by day, opportunities came to him. Unexpected calls, new partnerships, sudden clarity. Within months, the life that once seemed broken was reordered, restored, resurrected. The outer world had to yield because he no longer begged, he decreed. And so with you, when you speak from the throne, your words are no longer suggestions, they are law. Pause with me again and let us decree together. From the throne I speak abundance. From the throne I speak healing. From the throne I speak harmony. From the throne I speak peace. From the throne I speak resurrection life. Say it and feel the resonance ripple through every cell of your being. Beloved, understand, when you speak from the throne, doubt cannot linger, for the throne is built upon certainty. Imagine the golden seat beneath you. It is not fragile. It is eternal, unshakable, established from the foundations of the universe. Therefore, your decree is unshakable. If appearances rise against you, decree again. If storms roar around you, decree again. If shadows whisper fear, decree again. For from the throne your decree is the final word. Say this now: I do not speak as one beneath circumstances. I speak as one enthroned above them. From the throne I speak, and it is so. Now, dear one, feel the majesty deepening. Picture your life as a great hall, and every circumstance is gathered before your throne. Finances stand before you. Health stands before you. Relationships stand before you. Each one awaits your decree. Lift your hand and speak. All things now align with divine right order. My life is harmony. My life is abundance. My life is resurrection. And the circumstances bow. One by one, they take their place. This is the truth. You are not waiting for life to crown you. You are already crowned. You are not waiting for proof to speak. You speak, and proof must come. From the throne I speak. Pause. Breathe. Anchor this within. Let me invite you now into a sacred practice. Take a moment to declare aloud your own decree from your throne of light. It could be for your health, your finances, your relationships, or your destiny. But let it be spoken not as hope, not as question, but as decree. Pause here, space for listener to speak their decree aloud. Yes, it is done. It is sealed. It is established. From the throne I speak. If these words are awakening your soul, if you feel the power of this throne rising within you, I invite you to declare it publicly. Write in the comments 1 if you are ready to speak from the throne in your finances. 2 if you are ready to speak from the throne in your health. 3 if you are ready to speak from the throne in your relationships. 4 if you are ready to speak from the throne in your entire life. Beloved soul, we now move deeper. You are seated upon the throne of light, clothed in authority, crowned with divine identity. And from this place, you learn the eternal truth. Circumstances must bow to your decree. The world would have you believe that circumstances rule, that storms dictate the day, that economies decide your provision, that doctors determine your health, that chance writes your destiny. But in the realm of spirit, in the kingdom where you are enthroned, the reverse is true. Circumstances are subject to you. Hear this: you do not bow to circumstances, circumstances bow to you. Pause. Let these words sink into your being. Say it with me now. Circumstances bow to my decree. Again, circumstances bow to my decree. Picture this: a storm swells upon the sea waves rising, winds raging, lightning striking. The ship trembles, the sailors cry out in fear. They are at the mercy of circumstance. Yet upon the deck, a figure rises. Calm, radiant, unwavering. With a voice that cuts through the chaos, he speaks, "Peace be still." And the storm obeys. So it is with you. The storms of life may rise, but they cannot command you. You are not the sailor scrambling below. You are the Christ within, standing upon the deck, speaking calm into chaos. Say it again: peace be still. Your word is not weak suggestion. It is decree. It is law. There was once a woman who lived under a constant storm of lack. Bills piled upon her table. Collectors knocked upon her door. Worry gnawed at her nights. For years, she waited, hoping for change, begging heaven to intervene. But one morning, weary of pleading, she remembered, "From the throne I speak." She rose to her feet, lifted her head, and declared aloud, "I am the child of abundance. I decree divine provision. Money flows to me in perfect ways. Lack dissolves, supply appears." Day by day, she decreed. At first, nothing shifted, yet inwardly, the storm began to calm. Fear dissolved, certainty grew, and soon doors opened. Unexpected opportunities arrived. Debts were cleared, supply overflowed. Her circumstances, once towering waves, bowed to her decree. Beloved, understand, it was not circumstance that changed her decree. It was her decree that changed circumstance. Let us practice now. Think of the storm that rages around you. Perhaps it is in your finances, or your health, or your relationships. See it before you like waves rising, and now see yourself standing tall upon the deck of your life. Speak with me: peace be still. My life is governed by divine order. Circumstances align with my decree. Nothing opposes me. Everything serves me. All things bow to my word. Pause. Feel the atmosphere shift. The storm that once raged must now obey. Doubt may whisper, but I cannot command life. Circumstances are bigger than me, yet here this doubt is a shadow, not substance. Courage is the flame that dissolves it. Every great transformation begins with one decree spoken in courage. One word released with conviction, can silence 10,000 doubts. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Fear and impatience demolish prosperity and happiness, but faith and courage construct them." When you decree with faith, your word is a hammer breaking chains, a torch lighting darkness, a seed birthing harvest. Say it now with me, I speak with courage. My decree is final. Circumstances yield to me. There was once a young artist whose dreams were buried under rejection. Every gallery declined her work. Every critic dismissed her talent. Her circumstances shouted, "You are not enough." But she remembered circumstances bow to my decree. Each day she walked into her studio, lifted her brush, and declared, "I am celebrated. My art is divine expression. Doors open before me. Recognition flows to me." For months, nothing changed. Yet she held her decree. And then one invitation came, a small exhibit, then another. Soon her name spread. Her art traveled across cities, across nations. The very critics who once scorned her became her admirers. Why? Because she did not bow to circumstance. She spoke, and circumstance bowed to her. Beloved, let us walk through the layers together now. When doubt comes, what do you decree? I decree courage. When lack comes, what do you decree? I decree supply. When sickness comes, what do you decree? I decree health. When conflict comes, what do you decree? I decree peace. Say it aloud, again and again. Until your heart knows it as truth, circumstances bow to me. See your life now as a great field, once tangled with weeds. These weeds are circumstances that seemed wild, uncontrollable, suffocating. But in your hand is the scepter of decree. Each word you speak is like fire passing over the field. Weeds dissolve, the ground clears, and in their place divine order springs forth. Say with me, I decree divine order. My field flourishes with abundance. My harvest is certain. Nothing can resist my decree. Pause, see it, feel it, believe it. Now I ask you to declare with me a covenant of sovereignty. I no longer wait for circumstances to prove my word. I speak, and circumstances must align. My decree is greater than appearance. My word is law. My authority is established. Circumstances bow to me. Yes, and so it is. Take this truth into your life. You are not the victim of circumstance. You are the sovereign over circumstance. You are not tossed by the winds, you command the winds. You are not at the mercy of storms. You are the master who calms them. Each day rise and decree today, circumstances bow to me. Everything flows in my favor. All is aligned with divine right order. Let it become rhythm, heartbeat, breath. Beloved soul sovereignty is not a moment, it is a lifestyle. To speak from the throne is not only for great storms and monumental battles. It is for every breath, every step, every choice. Dominion is not occasional, it is daily. It is the rhythm of your resurrected life. Say this with me, I walk in daily dominion. Again, I walk in daily dominion. Picture yourself rising in the morning. The sun filters through your window. Before the world can press its noise upon you, you pause. You place your hand upon your heart and remember, I am enthroned. I am sovereign. I walk in dominion today. This is no ordinary morning. It is the morning of a sovereign. As you rise, you carry your crown, an unseen diadem of light set firmly upon your brow. You carry your scepter, your word of decree ready upon your lips. You carry your robe of authority woven of courage, faith, and certainty. You do not stumble into the day as a beggar. You step forth as a ruler. Every encounter, every moment, every decision is colored by the consciousness of dominion. Let us practice together. In relationships, you decree, I walk as love. I walk as harmony. I walk as blessing. In finances, you decree I walk as abundance. I walk as provision. I walk as prosperity. In health, you decree I walk as vitality. I walk as wholeness. I walk as radiant life. In destiny, you decree I walk as purpose. I walk as clarity. I walk as fulfillment. Repeat these words until they are carved into the very air around you, until your every step vibrates with their truth. There was a man who once lived divided. In prayer, he felt empowered. In meditation, he spoke decree. But when he returned to daily life at work at home, he slipped back into doubt, fear, and smallness. One day he realized dominion must not end at the altar. It must follow me into the marketplace, the office, the kitchen, the street. So he began to practice. Each morning, he put on his unseen crown. As he walked into work, he whispered, I walk in daily dominion. My words are creative. My presence shifts atmospheres. Soon he noticed subtle changes. Conversations bent in his favor. Tensions dissolved when he entered a room. Opportunities appeared without striving. Why? Because he was no longer divided. He carried his throne into daily life. Beloved, dominion is not a moment you visit, it is a realm you carry. Imagine now with me the crown upon your head. Feel its weight not of burden, but of glory. Imagine the robe upon your shoulders soft and radiant. Imagine the scepter in your hand glowing with the fire of decree. Now walk with me into the ordinary scenes of life, into the store, into the workplace, into your home. As you move, everything subtly shifts. People sense the authority upon you. Atmospheres respond. Circumstances adjust. For you are not just living life, you are ruling it. You are walking in daily dominion. Say this now, I walk as love in my relationships. I speak harmony, and harmony answers me. Pause. Let faces of those you love come to mind. Speak blessing over them. See discord melt. See unity rise. You are sovereign in love. Say this now, I walk as abundance in my finances. I speak provision, and provision flows to me. Pause. See your table filled. See your accounts overflowing. See opportunities multiplying. You are sovereign in supply. Say this now, I walk as health in my body. I speak vitality, and vitality radiates through me. Pause. Feel energy flowing through your veins. See strength in your muscles, clarity in your mind, peace in your breath. You are sovereign in health. Say this now, I walk as destiny fulfilled. I speak purpose, and purpose unfolds in my path. Pause. See doors opening, see light guiding you forward. See the next step revealed. You are sovereign in destiny. There was a woman who carried bitterness from the past. Her relationships were tangled, her home heavy with conflict. Each day she repeated old stories of hurt. Until one day she chose to walk differently. She placed her hand on her heart and said, I walk as love. I walk as forgiveness. I walk as harmony. She repeated it daily. She carried it into every conversation. And soon hearts softened, walls crumbled, relationships renewed. What years of striving could not mend, her daily dominion restored. Beloved, dominion works not only in grand decrees, but in gentle steps. Each word you carry into the day reshapes reality. Let us decree together now many affirmations for daily dominion. I walk as joy. I walk as peace. I walk as clarity. I walk as wisdom. I walk as blessing. I walk as resurrection. Feel the rhythm. Let each phrase march into your day like footsteps of power. Beloved, understand, daily dominion is not about control, but about flow. It is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning outcomes. It is walking in harmony with divine law, knowing that all things bend to right order when you decree from love and certainty. When you walk in daily dominion, your life becomes a continual resurrection. Each morning is a rising. Each step is a proclamation. Each interaction is a chance to radiate authority clothed in kindness, sovereignty expressed in peace. Say this final affirmation with me: I walk in daily dominion. In every moment, in every place, in every way, I carry the crown of resurrection life. And so it is. Beloved soul, nothing strengthens faith like testimony. Testimony is the echo of resurrection. It is the proof that decree becomes demonstration. It is the story of despair turned to joy of ashes, turned to beauty of endings, turned to beginnings. Florence Scovel Shinn often told stories because stories carry power. They plant seeds in the soil of the imagination. They whisper, if it happened for them, it can happen for me. And so now I bring you testimonies of resurrection living witnesses that decree transforms life. The first testimony is of a man whose life had collapsed. Once wealthy, he lost everything: home, business, family, trust. He wandered the streets, his pockets empty, his spirit broken. One evening, he heard a phrase repeated by a stranger passing by: "Your word is your wand." The word struck him like fire. That night, he sat beneath a streetlight and whispered, "From the throne I speak, my life is restored. Abundance returns to me. I am crowned with prosperity again." Day after day, he repeated it. Though his shoes wore thin, his decree grew strong. Soon a friend appeared with an offer of work, then another opportunity. Within a year, he was not only restored, he was multiplied, prospering in ways he had never imagined. From despair to resurrection, his testimony rings. My word was law. I spoke, and my life obeyed. The second testimony is of a woman battling illness. Doctors had given little hope. She was weak, her body frail, her nights sleepless. Fear whispered that her days were few. But she remembered the Christ who said, "Rise, take up your bed, and walk." She placed her hand upon her heart and decreed, "I am whole. I am radiant. My body is the temple of life. Health flows through every cell." She spoke it morning and night. She spoke it when pain screamed. She spoke it when hope seemed thin. Slowly, her strength returned. Slowly, her color renewed, until one day she rose with vigor and walked freely again. Her testimony shines, circumstances bowed. Health obeyed. Resurrection life filled me. The third testimony is of a young student. His mind was clouded with fear of failure. Every test seemed impossible, every challenge overwhelming. He believed he was not enough. Then, in a moment of quiet, he heard a phrase within: I walk as wisdom. I walk as clarity. He began to decree it each morning before study: I have the mind of Christ. Wisdom flows through me. Clarity is mine. Success is mine. Soon, his understanding sharpened. Ideas came easily. Confidence replaced fear. He passed his exams with excellence, and doors opened for his future. His testimony declares, I decreed wisdom, and wisdom became my walk. Beloved, do you see the pattern? Every story begins with despair, moves through decree, and ends in resurrection. This is the rhythm: despair, decree, demonstration, joy. And so it shall be for you. Let us pause now for your testimony in the making. Whatever storm you face, whatever weight you carry, decree it now. Speak aloud: this is not my ending. This is my resurrection. My story will be a testimony. My life will be a witness. I decree new life now. Yes, and as you decree, so it is. There was once a woman whose heart was shattered by betrayal. She believed love had abandoned her forever. For months, she wept, declaring herself unworthy, until one day she shifted her words. She stood before the mirror and declared, "I am love. I am worthy. I am whole. Love surrounds me and flows to me." At first, the mirror reflected only her tears, but she kept speaking. Day by day, her eyes softened, her smile returned, and soon love did come not as desperation, but as divine harmony. She married a man who cherished her, and together they built a life of joy. Her testimony sings, "Love resurrected me." Perhaps your testimony is about to be written. Perhaps right now you are in the middle of despair. But beloved, despair is not the ending, it is the soil of resurrection. The darker the night, the brighter the dawn. Say this with me: my testimony is being written. My resurrection is assured. Beloved, soul resurrection is not a single moment of triumph. It is a rhythm, a cycle, a continual rising. Just as the sun rises every morning, just as the seasons turn, just as the phoenix rises from its ashes, so you rise again and again. Say this with me now: I rise again and again and again. This is the mystery of eternal renewal. The resurrected life is not a one-time victory. It is an unending song. Each time you fall, you rise. Each time shadows gather, light breaks through. Each time endings come, beginnings are born. Picture the phoenix. It is consumed in fire, reduced to ash. To the eye, it seems destroyed. Yet from the very ashes, wings unfold brighter than before. Its resurrection is not once, but continual. Again and again it rises, proof that nothing can truly end, only transform. So it is with you. Whatever has seemed to burn away in your life, opportunities, relationships, health, hope, know this: the ashes are not the finale. They are the soil of renewal. From them you rise, and not the same as before, greater, brighter, stronger. Say it with me: I rise brighter, I rise stronger, I rise again. Consider the sunrise. Each night darkness covers the world, yet never once has the sun failed to rise. Never once has dawn been withheld. The earth turns, the light returns, and morning floods the horizon. This is the certainty of your resurrection. No matter how long the night, no matter how heavy the shadows, the dawn is inevitable. Your rising is assured. Pause, breathe deeply. Imagine the horizon before you. See the sky painted with gold and crimson. Feel the warmth of light breaking through. Whisper it with me: my dawn is here. My light returns. I rise again. There was a woman who lost everything in a single year. Her marriage dissolved. Her job ended. Her health faltered. She thought her life had ended, but she remembered the phoenix. She remembered the sunrise. Each morning she whispered, even through her tears, "I rise again. I rise again." Slowly, life returned. She discovered new work richer than before. She met new friends kinder than before. She found new health stronger than before. And she declared with joy, "I would never have chosen the fire, but I blessed the ashes, for from them I rose renewed." Beloved, so it shall be with you. Whatever fire you have faced, whatever ashes surround you, know this: you will rise again. Let us now speak a cycle of resurrection together. When I fall, I rise. When I lose, I gain. When I end, I begin. When I break, I heal. When I sleep, I wake. When I die, I live. I rise again and again and again. Pause. Let these words echo in your spirit. They are eternal truth. Resurrection is not resistance, it is flow. The seed must fall into the ground before it blooms. The caterpillar must enter the cocoon before it flies. The night must come before the dawn. So do not fear endings, beloved. Do not resist the fire, the ashes, the darkness. They are only passages. They are wombs of rebirth. Say this with me: I trust the cycle. I welcome renewal. I rise again. There was once a man who lost his voice. He had been a singer, known and celebrated. But illness struck and his voice disappeared. He thought his gift was gone forever. Yet instead of despairing, he chose to decree, "My gift is renewed. My song is not ended. I rise again." He trained, he rested, he spoke words of life over his throat each day. And in time, his voice returned, not as it once was, but richer, deeper, carrying power it had never held before. His testimony became a song of eternal renewal. Beloved, what voice in your life has seemed silenced? What gift has seemed lost? Decree with me now, it is not lost. It is renewed. I rise again. Now let us enter a meditation of renewal. Close your eyes. See before you a great horizon. The sun has set. Darkness has covered the land. You stand in silence, yet even in the silence a whisper arises, "I rise again." Moments pass. A glimmer of gold appears on the horizon. Slowly, the light grows. The sky turns from black to blue, from blue to fire, from fire to radiant day. The sun ascends, and with it, you ascend. Breathe it in, whisper it aloud. My dawn has come. My resurrection is sure. I rise again. Beloved, resurrection is not only personal, it is collective. We rise not only as individuals, but as humanity. Each time one soul rises, it calls another upward. Each time you rise, you make space for another to rise. Let us declare together, we rise together, again and again. Yes, let this be our unity cry. Write it, speak it, share it. We rise together again and again. For resurrection is eternal, unending, collective. And in this truth, your life is never finished, never defeated, never final. You are the phoenix. You are the sunrise. You are the eternal renewal. Say this closing affirmation with me: I rise in love. I rise in health. I rise in abundance. I rise in purpose. I rise again and again and again. And so it is. Beloved soul, we now arrive at the culmination of the journey. You have awakened the word. You have decreed from the throne. You have exercised sovereignty over circumstances. You have walked in daily dominion. You have heard testimonies of resurrection. You have risen again and again. Now we come to the closing decree, the final seal upon this resurrection life. It is finished. I rise. Pause with me. Breathe deeply. Feel the gravity of these words. They are not spoken in weakness, but in authority. They are not whispered in doubt, but declared in certainty. It is finished. These are the words that close the door on the old, that bury the shadows, that end the cycle of defeat. They are the hammer that drives the final nail into fear, lack, sickness, despair. It is finished. Say it aloud with me now. It is finished. Feel the release. Feel the closing. Feel the weight of the past fall away. And then from that silence, rise with a second decree: I rise. Say it again: I rise. This is not a future promise, it is a present reality. In this moment, you rise. In this moment, you step forth from the tomb of the old into the dawn of the new. Imagine this vividly. You stand before a great stone tomb. Behind you lie all the remnants of the old life: fear, regret, failure, doubt. The stone has sealed it. You speak, it is finished. Now the stone begins to roll away. Light floods in. You step forth clothed in new radiance. Chains fall from your wrists. Doors swing open before you. Shadows dissolve behind you. You lift your head and proclaim, I rise. See it, feel it, believe it. This is your moment of resurrection. Let us move into call and response decree together. I say, it is finished. You say, I rise. I say, fear is finished. You say, I rise in courage. I say, lack is finished. You say, I rise in abundance. I say, sickness is finished. You say, I rise in health. I say, conflict is finished. You say, I rise in peace. I say, defeat is finished. You say, I rise in victory. I say, the old is finished. You say, I rise in resurrection life. Yes, feel the energy, the certainty, the finality. The old has no claim upon you. You are risen. There was once a man who lived years under the shadow of addiction. Every attempt to change seemed to fail. But one day, standing in the quiet of his room, he whispered aloud, "It is finished. I rise." He spoke it again and again until it burned into his spirit. He closed the door on his old patterns. He buried the chains in the tomb, and he walked forth into freedom. His life became a testimony of final decree that the old is finished and resurrection is here. Beloved, what chains are you ready to lay down? What tomb are you ready to leave behind? Speak it now, name it, and declare it is finished. I rise. This decree is not only personal, it is universal. As you speak it, generations hear it. Shadows in your lineage dissolve. Patterns of fear, lack, sickness, and bondage are cut off. Your decree ripples through time, declaring resurrection for all who follow. Say this with me: the old in my lineage is finished. The new begins with me. I rise, and generations rise with me. Yes, beloved, your resurrection is not small. It is vast. It is eternal. Now let us close with a ceremonial vision. Imagine yourself standing in a great hall. The throne of light shines behind you. Before you lies a vast horizon radiant with dawn. Angels and witnesses surround you, celebrating your resurrection. You lift your arms high and proclaim, "It is finished." I rise, and the heavens echo your decree. The earth responds. The universe aligns. The sound reverberates through eternity. It is finished. I rise. Beloved, this is the seal, the final word, the decree that closes all past chapters and opens the eternal book of resurrection. Say it once more with all your being. It is finished. I rise, and so it is.